What's the funniest rib you ever saw pulled in wrestling?
Funniest rib I ever saw pulled in pro wrestling. Man, that's a tough question. I can tell you one of the... It's hard for me to say what the funniest rib is, but I can tell you one that happened to me that I will give props for. It was a pretty good rib, and that was when Al Snow had put my cell phone number, on Live Raw on USA Network. He was doing a pre-tape where he was trying to find Pepper. Big Boss Man at the time had stolen his little dog Pepper, and so every week Al Snow was doing a vignette on Raw. You know, if you found Pepper or whatever, he'd cut a promo. And so one day I was walking during the daytime, this is long before Raw starts, I was walking down the back hallway towards the locker room, and I saw Al Snow way down at the end of the hall with the TV crew, and they were going to tape their vignettes. And as I was getting ready to make a right turn to walk into the locker room, I heard Al way down the hallway say to the producer, "No, that is Val's." And so I stopped and I looked down the hall and I said, "Hey Al, what's mine?" And he goes, "Oh, nothing, I'll tell you after." I said, "All right." And I walked into the locker room not thinking anything of it. Later on that evening, the show's on, I go out, I do my match, I come back into the locker room, and there's a monitor in our locker room. Now I'm completely covered in sweat. I'm standing there with my hands on my hips, just waiting to cool down to stop sweating so I can go into the shower, change, and, you know, get ready to move on to the next city. In the monitor, I'm watching Raw live. Kind of half paying attention to it, half not. And I noticed that my cell phone rings in my bag, so I reach down, I pick up my cell phone, and I answer it, and the other person on the other line says, "Is this the phone I called to when I find Pepper?" And I was like, "Who's Pepper? What are you talking about?" And I hung up the phone because they wouldn't answer my question, and I hung up. As soon as I hung up, it rang again. And the second time I answered, it was a lady on the phone that said, "Is this the number I called to find Pepper?" And I'm like, "What? How could they? What the heck? Pepper what?" And then I started listening, and the whole locker room was dead silent. And immediately I look, and I can see on the monitor that Al Snow's just wrapping up his whole Pepper thing, and he had put my number live on the air, and I knew it right away. It all clicked in. And I was like, "Oh, no way." And I hung up the phone, and the second I hung up, it rang again, and I went, "Oh!" And I turned around, and Al beelines it out the door, running, laughing his ass off the whole way down the hall. And so my number was all over USA Network, and the second you hit hang up, it would ring again. And it did. I turned it off. 2 hours later, Tess and A-Train and I are driving down the road to the next city, and A-Train asked me, "Hey, is your phone still ringing?" And I was like, "Hey, good question, let's find out." And I go and turn it on, and sure enough, as soon as it got reception, this is 2 hours later, as soon as it got reception, it's ringing. My voicemail box was already full. I think at that time it only held 50 emails or something like that. It was already full, and it just rang, and I had to get the number changed. The next morning, it was still ringing. It was insane. Really good rib.
Thank you for watching the Hannibal TV. Please like this video if you enjoyed it, and click the subscribe button to not miss any of our latest shoot interviews, match videos, or news updates. Support us on patreon.com for $1.99 a month to watch our full shoot interviews ad-free and help our channel grow. Follow us on Twitter at the Hannibal TV for instant updates.